topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask Good Questions podcast, broadcasting live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio at W4CY.com. This week and every week, we will reach for a higher purpose in money and life, as well as a focus on health and wellness. Now, let's join your host, Benita Bell Anderson, as together we start with Asking Good Questions.
Hey, welcome to the Ask Good Questions podcast. My name is Benita Bell Anderson, and I am here today with a very special guest, Jamie Buchanan. She is a massage therapist, and I'm just going to begin with a little intro of Jamie. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes. She was a little nervous about this, and I said, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So Jamie graduated. She's just a young thing. She graduated in July 2021, so going on 4 years ago, with her license to practice massage therapy after apprenticing through the state of Utah under an instructor. She specializes in deep tissue, medical massage, and lymphatic massage. We're going to find out what in the heck that is. She is board certified in therapeutic massage and body work, and is a certified lymphedema, did I say that right?
You did, yeah.
Therapist. For Jamie, no massage is the same. She strives to listen to each client's needs and concerns to best fix and adjust them. Jamie loves to share her work with others, as massage work has been very beneficial in her own life. She loves being active and doing things outdoors, such as fishing with her dad, who I knew a gazillion years ago when we were both agents at Northwestern Mutual. This is like 25 years ago. And when I first met her, her maiden name is Crozier. And I went, I knew a Crozier back in the day.
Not a very common last name.
Yeah. And she's like, that's my dad. So anyways, a small world, isn't it? So she loves fishing with her dad, hiking with her dogs, and kayaking with her family. I also love kayaking. Oh, nice. Jamie's also a dancer and continues to teach a few classes.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us how in the heck you got into this field in the first place.
I kind of just fell into it, honestly. It wasn't like I knew I always wanted to do massage or anything. I graduated from SUU with my associate's degree in the fall of 2016. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was teaching dance, but I just was kind of floating, working. I was like, oh, I don't want to go to school and spend money.
I remember those days. I was like, what am I going to do with my life?
That's how I felt. Yeah. So I was just working. And I was actually working up in Alaska seasonally. Fun. And my mom and one of her really good friends came up to visit because they just wanted to go up there. And so we were around this campfire late one night. We had just seen the Northern Lights. It was super cool. And her friend, her name's Terry Darty, mentioned, she's like, she's been a massage therapist forever. And she was like, oh yeah, I apprentice people because you can do that through the state of Utah. It's not very common, like knowledge, but you can. And she's like, and I just took on an apprentice. And I was coming back to Utah after the Alaskan summer to teach dance. And I was like, that kind of sounds cool. Can I do it? She was like, sure.
Why not?
So I just did. And I've always been interested in like the body, like being as a dancer and stuff. And I'd gotten a few massages myself and really enjoyed it. But I just kind of wanted to try it to see if I even liked it. And I loved it. And
here you are now.
So
she's the next generation of massage therapists. Yeah. So, well, what do you think are the main benefits? I mean, everybody, I'm sure, has had a massage or has been thinking about it or thinking maybe I should start doing that. what would you say are the main benefits that you should include that in your life?
Okay. So I'll kind of preface this before I talk about the benefits, is that massage works really well as a preventative, and it works well as like a fixer, but it's a lot better as a preventative.
Right. That makes sense.
So a lot of the benefits you get from massage are like preventative benefits. So it reduces, obviously, people talk about the knots and I got a really sore back, so I need to get a massage. So it helps with your muscle tension. I'll kind of briefly go over these and then I'll talk about it if that's okay.
Okay.
So it reduces your muscle tension, improves your circulation. It can help with your lymphatic system. It helps with your, I think I already said circulatory system. It helps with your lowering your cortisol hormone, which is your stress hormone. So your fight or flight, it helps to lower that and increase your relaxing hormone. And a lot of times, people in the world were just constantly in fight or flight, constantly in cortisol.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's the one chance you can have to lower that hormone and bring up the parasympathetic nervous system. And then it promotes relaxation, which is it promotes relaxation. But what it does by relaxation is it gives you a lot better sleep quality. So I would say that massage really helps with sleep.
I feel like after I've had a massage, I'll sleep. She's always saying drink lots of water, so I try to drink lots of water. But then I think I do. I do sleep better that night.
Yeah, good. Well, you probably sleep better because I'll kind of go back through all this if that's okay, because that was a lot. But the one thing I think it helps the most is lowering the cortisol, the fight or flight hormone, and increasing your relaxing hormone, which we just don't ever really get to do throughout our day. And when you can do that, then you can sleep better. And everybody knows kind of right now, it's sleep's the big thing, right? If you can't do anything else to help yourself, you should at least try to sleep, your 7 to 8 hours. So if you can get a really good night's sleep, it repairs your muscles, it repairs the brain, it helps with the hormones, it helps with everything if you can get a good night's sleep. So that's one of the benefits of massage, is that you can get the better night's sleep. It also helps with your circulatory system. So as the manual massage therapist is obviously moving the muscle and the skin, it moves blood everywhere. That's why you turn red after you kind of rub yourself like that.
Right.
Because the blood just kind of rushes in there. And that's what really fixes a sore muscle, is the blood that gets pushed in there. Because when you have a knot or a trigger point, there's a lot limited blood flow that's coming to that area. So when the massage therapist can get in there, it pushes the blood in there.
Is that why it hurts?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. It's a good hurt.
It's a good hurt. The blood comes in, and then the blood brings in the oxygen and the protein and the vitamins that the muscle's been needing, and then it repairs itself. And that's why the muscle feels better after a massage.
So are you talking about sore muscles then? Or is that different?
And your circulatory system, it all kind of goes hand in hand a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then the circulatory system, it obviously gives it a good flush of all of it.
Right. So if you, by pushing in there and kneading that out, that is it because of is it lactic acid that you're releasing that you get sore muscles?
It could be. Yeah. So a lot of times after working out, you can get lactic acid buildup. Mm-hmm. So if you're man, my quads are really sore. I did, 1,000 squats 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Have a lot of lactic acid muscle in there. Then yes, you can push out that lactic acid. But then sometimes some people, my husband's a concrete guy. And so he just constantly has a
hard work.
Back.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of lactic acid, but it's also some poor posture and just a lot of pressure in places that it shouldn't really be. And then your muscles are striated like this. So when I had a client one time, my husband hates it when someone says, "Oh, I got a knot in my back," because your muscles don't knot like a knot.
Right.
So he was frustrated. We just call it a knot because
it's like this.
That's what it feels like.
It feels
right?
like a
ball,
like a point there.
But it's not a knot. Your muscles are straight like this. And so they flex and contract. And after work and work and work and work, they start to get a knot or a bump. And then that's why it's harder, and why your muscles are sore, and maybe why you're oh, I'm not as flexible, or my hamstrings are really tight, so I can't, touch my toes. Just from overwork, those striated muscles have contracted like this. And then the massage therapist comes in pushes on the muscles, opens up the blood vessels, the blood comes in, repairs the muscles, and then they can go back to being happy, striated muscles.
So I know I have always struggled with this next question. How often should I be getting a massage? What do you think?
For average, I would tell someone once a month is a really good maintenance. If you're very active, then I would say every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally get massaged every 2 weeks. I'm on my feet as a massage therapist every day.
Right.
I dance. I do CrossFit. I like to go hiking. So every 2 weeks works for me. If I go beyond 2 weeks, like by that third, fourth week, I'm like, I'm feeling like pretty sore, pretty tight. And the one massage just doesn't really cut it.
Right.
So for me, it's like every 2 weeks. I have, I know some people that get a massage every week.
Yeah.
You're going to see like professional athletes that get massaged.
Oh, sure.
All the time and get body work done all the time or after a big game. But if it's in your budget and it works for you, like the 4 weeks maintenance is like, I would say ideal.
Right.
Yeah. Every 4 weeks.
Well, tell me about this whole thing about lymphatic massage. Now, you said you are a certified lymphedema.
Lymphedema.
What in the heck is that, Jamie?
Okay, we're going to get into a whole new science here.
Okay.
So I'm CLT, and I was certified in complete decongestive therapy. So it's a CDT. So I'm a CLT, CDT.
Okay.
Massage, when you get, at least in the state of Utah, your massage license doesn't cover lymphatic drainage. It's just a different certification. So some massage therapists are going to say that they can do lymph drain and they can't. You need to make sure that they're certified.
Okay.
And I would just say that because there are quite a few contradictions to getting a lymphatic drain massage or like manual work done. And if, someone doesn't know those things, it's not that great. So you want to make sure that they're certified. I got certified through the Norton School of Lymphatic Therapy down in Las Vegas. It was like an intense 9-day class. It was super intense, but I loved it.
I remember I had to reschedule a massage because I'm sorry, I'm in Las Vegas.
I'm in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
I know. And I can't even use that as continuing ed because Utah doesn't do continuing ed courses anymore. I just really wanted to do it. But basically your lymphatic system is it's this whole other system, but it works hand in hand with your circulatory system. And, basic terms, the blood comes from the heart, goes to all the muscles, and then gets sucked back up into the heart, right? The arteries and then into the veins. When the blood comes down to the arteries, it comes down to the very last blood vessel that it can get into.
The smallest ones.
The smallest ones. And those ones are like 1 cell layer thick. Wow. So the blood can pass through them pretty easily.
Wow.
Right. And that's good because then the blood gets to the protein and the vitamins get to our muscles. So it passes through those blood vessels. And because protein and water are attracted to each other, the protein passes through those blood vessels, gets distributed out through the muscles, and there's still some water in these vessels. So any leftover protein gets sucked back in with that water and then into the veins and then back to the heart.
Wow.
In a perfect system, that's what happens.
Oh.
Okay. And if it was a perfect system, we wouldn't need a lymphatic system.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a perfect system. The protein comes out, some of it gets sucked back in, but sometimes it gets left out there because there's not enough attraction. A lot of things can happen to make it just stay out there for a little bit.
Right.
And when that happens, when there gets to be enough out here in your interstitium space, or the third space, then your lymphatic vessels, they don't have any doors. So when the fluid builds and builds and builds, it opens up their doors and the fluid gets sucked in.
Oh.
And then it goes in through all these different lymphatic vessels up into the nodes. And then any good fluid gets returned back to the heart. Any bad fluid gets urinated out.
Okay.
So that's your lymphatic system.
Okay.
In a poor lymphatic system, like say you rolled your ankle and it swelled. Okay. There was a lot of blood flow that went to that ankle to try to repair it.
Right.
So now your lymph system is overworked. And even though it's opening up that door, it just can't keep up with all the fluid that's in there. And so it stays swollen. Same thing like if you're on an airplane and you've ever swelled up a little bit in your ankles.
Have to go for a walk around the plane.
Yes, exactly. Your interstitium space at all times has an air pressure on it. here, which we're used to. And so it's keeping that pressure in the lymph systems working. When you go up into the airplane, the air pressure is a lot lighter. So that all of a sudden the fluid wants to stay there. And that's why you swell. And then the lymph system just is overworked. It can't keep all that fluid up, at least for a few days until it can catch up. We call it like the UPS at Christmas time. Like you rolled your ankle, you're up in the airplane, your lymph system's working, it's working. And it's trying its best to get all that fluid out of there. It's just going to take them a minute to catch up.
Okay.
Somebody who has lymphedema is a mechanical problem with their lymph system. So their lymph system breaks down. It's like the UPS Christmas time all year round.
So the engine is just not working.
The engine is not working.
Has it like stopped?
The workers have quit. They're overrun. The trucks aren't working right.
Right.
Okay. So it has stopped at the base level. This one has stopped working. So now this one next to it is trying to catch up. And then eventually it's going to work so much that it's also going to fail.
Yeah.
And then so on and so forth. So it's a mechanic issue, and that one just doesn't get resolved. And so as a lymphedema therapist, now we're going back to what I do.
Okay. So it's like, where do you come into this picture?
So now my job, someone comes up to me, they have a swollen leg. All right. They're like, it's a lymphedema, it's never going to not be swollen, basically. And it's like, well, no, that's not the case. That's where I can come in and help. So you do a manual lymph drain on the swollen limb or multiple limbs. And then complete decongestive therapy is manual lymph drain, exercise, skincare, and compression. And I do like the compression and the lymph drain. So they wear compression garments, I lymph drain, they do some exercising, and it eventually will get that swelling to go back down, not to be perfect. And it's something they'll have to work on their whole life. But the intensive CDT, the complete decongestive therapy that I can do, or lymphedema therapists can do, can really bring the swelling down.
So how often are you going to see somebody that's coming into you for help with that? Are you going to have to see them more than once a week, or are you going to?
Yeah. A lot of times with the what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive phase, I guess, of CDT, when they're like, we're just trying to get the swelling down. Because then once it's down, then they can peter off and not come in so often. But it's just depending how big the swelling is, maybe why they got lymphedema in the first place, how good they are at wearing their compression garments, all that would kind of depend on how often they'd have to come in.
Remember so I'm going to give her my example of having my hip replaced 2.5 years ago. And it was a successful hip replacement, but my leg didn't work. And I think that was when I might have met you originally, because I came in for physical therapy and they also said, you need to do some massage too. I mean, the muscles were not. And so we spent a lot of time, and I was going in and seeing the physical therapist, and she was doing massages, but that was a muscle. That wasn't.
Muscle.
It was muscle. That was just, my muscles had forgotten how to work, and it scared the crap out of me, because I was like, it was so hard to walk. And in the physical therapist, and Jamie, she works in a physical therapist's office, was just so impactful on getting my leg back to where it was really functional again. And so that, that's a different thing from the lymphatic system. But I think,
I think that's where a lot of people get confused, because they hear lymphatic massage. So they're thinking, like a muscular massage. And it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Lymph systems right on the skin. But muscular massage, like what I did with you and what I do a lot at the PT office, is deep muscular work into those muscles.
Right. Well, if people are going, great, you've sold me, I think I need to start seeing a massage therapist. How are you going to find somebody that you like? Because people are going to be viewing this or listening to this from all over the United States. And so how are they going to find, what would be the process that you'd find somebody that you'd like?
It's really trial and error, which is kind of lame, but it really is, because everybody massages in their own way. My instructor had me and 2 other apprentices, And while we like massage kind of the same, like we all have our own unique styles just because you're your own person. It's just kind of like your own preference to how you massage. But there's a few things you can kind of eliminate with what you want and what you don't want. So if someone, like I say that I do like deep tissue and like medical massage. So if you're like, I don't want to be in any pain. I want to lay there and basically take a nap. Like, you probably don't want to come to me, but you might want to find someone who says, I do Swedish massage, like relaxation massage. Hot stones are like really relaxing. That kind of avenue, you'd probably want to go find somebody like that. If you have an injury, medical massage or therapeutic massage, or deep tissue is like a little bit better. If you're looking for like improved flexibility and mobility, you might want to find somebody who does like some stretching, which now I'm blanking on the word. Thai massage. It's Thai massage. Oh, and I'll do like a little bit of it. I don't really do that a ton, and that's they're like pushing your arm and they're doing like active and passive ranges of motions. So that's helping a lot with like your mobility and your joints and your flexibility. Is there anything else?
Well, the thing that comes to mind for me is like, I think long ago when I started feeling like I should be doing a regular massage, I went and looked at Groupons, people doing specials or, any place where there's ads out for your community and you can just find somebody that's going to do a special and then just go try them out. I think probably that, it kind of sucks to be the massage therapist because you don't know really if you're getting a client or not, but you almost have to just go and get a massage to see if that is the person that you think
it really is
really going to help you. Yeah.
I think another one, ask your friends, like referrals, like has built my business the most.
Yeah.
And if you're friends with somebody, it's probably because you have the same interests.
Yeah.
So you probably enjoy the kind of same massage. Also, like here we have like a word of mouth Facebook page, and there's a lot of like referrals and stuff on that. Right. That you could, be like, this is the massage I'm looking for, or this is my problem. Like, do you have a massage therapist that you like? Yeah. And that could be a good reference.
So how do you set yourself up for a successful massage? Like, is there anything that you should do before? I mean, I think when I'm coming in to see her, I'm like rushing from something else. So I don't think I'm setting myself up very well. But what should you do before and what should you do after?
I wouldn't say there's a ton like pre-care that you need to do before a massage. You don't want to be like super sweaty, which is kind of funny.
That would be gross for you.
It's a little gross. It's not too bad, but honestly, like the sweat and the oil that I use, like they mix funny. And so like it doesn't glide right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny to say, but try not to be super sweaty. Right. A lot of times, women especially don't want to wear makeup because you're face down in this
you're smashed into this
and you'll probably get lines on your face, and then a lot of times your mascara will smear and your lashes will clump together.
Or bring your mirror and your makeup, and before you open the door, get yourself all beautiful again.
Yes, exactly. So don't expect to come with full makeup and leave with full makeup.
Yeah.
And then I tell people, if you have long hair, like just pull it up. Don't wear jewelry because necklaces will get in the way of like doing neck massage. Dangly earrings will sometimes get pulled on. If you can't pull your hair up, then you just kind of have to be cool with getting some oil in your hair.
Yeah. So, right.
That's really kind of the only like pre-massage stuff I would like recommend to people. But after, one thing Bonnie always tells me is drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Try to get 16 ounces in more than you normally do. And I started saying that to somebody or to everybody because like I had one client be like, well, I just don't ever drink water. So how much should I be drinking?
Oh, well, how about
that's a topic for another time. But
yeah.
I was like, all right. So like if you only drink a cup of water a day, so after a massage, drink at least 16 ounces more. Right. That's one water bottle worth.
So I want to hear from the massage therapist because there's all kinds of stuff out there about how much water you should drink every day. Now, the one that seems to the recommendation that I've heard the most has probably been half your half of your body weight in ounces, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so that would be at least 50 or 60. So if you have a 20-ounce bottle, like this is a 16, 17. This bottle is 17 ounces. And so basically, and I don't do this every day. I don't drink one of these. I don't drink like 5 of these. I might get 2 or 3 down. But what I've started doing is I do a little timer, a little reminder on my phone. And so when the alarm goes off, then it's like, oh, and somebody will say, what's that? And I say, oh, well, it's my drink water alarm.
Water. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like having my water in my car because I'll just suck on it while I'm drinking or while I'm driving. That's a good way for me to get water in. But I do tell people half your body weight in ounces for like an average person. But if you're like super active, if you're outside a lot, anytime you're like sweating, you need water and electrolytes like replenished.
Yeah.
So like for me, I drink about 1 gallon a day. That's like what I shoot for. But
so are you just sipping on it?
Body weight in 1 gallon.
Are you sipping on it the whole time?
Pretty much.
Through the day?
Pretty much. But I'll say another thing too. If you're like, I could never get that much water in, like go get 1 gallon from your gas station or Walmart or whatever. And then anytime you use it, like if you make a protein shake, if you make a little, I don't know, a green drink concoction or something, like use your gallon for everything you use water for that day. And you might be surprised that you're actually getting in like a little bit more than you think.
Okay.
Just because it's not like straight water, like I put something in it, doesn't mean it's not H2O in your body. So.
Right. Well, one of the things we had talked about was psychological benefits, which I don't think I've really thought about psychological benefits at all. What would you say is I mean, like one of the things that I will tell her, I'll open the door after, you get dressed and then you come out and she'll say, well, how are you doing? And I'll go, and pretty much all the time I'll say, I feel like you've kicked my butt, right? Because I do. I'm like, oh, I can feel like I've been worked on. And so, but I know that as I leave, I'm like, yay, got my massage in, and there's a psychological upper type of, do you think that that's a thing that happens?
Yeah, for sure. For like a few different reasons, I would say. So one, it's kind of like a self-care, right? Like you always kind of need to like care for yourself before you can care for anybody else.
Right.
So anytime you do anything like, you take an Epsom salt bath, or you, I don't know, do a solo hike because that's what you like to do, or you take a massage, like something that's just like caring for you, it's helping your body, that's just like a good self-care, you're going to feel better afterwards. And then psychological, you do like usually have a bit more like mental clarity after, I want to say right after massage. There's a thing called massage brain. So sometimes people walk out, they're like, ooh, and I'm like, are you good to drive home?
Yeah.
Drink some water. But like a little bit after the massage, you'll probably have a bit clearer brain. But that I would say like attributes to having that cortisol hormone drop and being a little bit more relaxed. You're not like in that fight or flight. So everything isn't like do or die. And you can see things with like a bit clearer perspective. Self-care, that one, a lot of times, like, and we'll get into like some energy here, but being touched without it like leading to anything else is really good for humans. Like without like, especially like husbands and like wives or boyfriend, girlfriends, like if you massage them without it having to lead to like intimacy, like it's really beneficial for them, for your relationship. And then just also like as a solo person, like hugging people, handshaking people, like just getting massaged and touched without their like a sense of touch. Yeah. Without it, you owing anything is really good for your psychological being. And then I'm a big believer that energy or like emotions can get stored in your body. So like, anger or whiplash or, a sore hip. It's like, I've had this sore hip since my dad passed away. And it's like, oh, maybe you're just holding on to some grief there, and sometimes when I massage people, like they're dead quiet. And like, I'm like, okay, that's what they need, right? They just need to like relax and be quiet. And maybe they're in their head, maybe they're taking a nap, whatever. And then sometimes they're dead quiet and I'll touch a spot and they'll just blah, 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 like just immediately start telling me about my dad passed away 20 years ago and I love him, And it's like, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay. Like maybe that emotion's just getting a little bit released from the hip. Or it's just kind of like therapeutic to like talk to somebody too.
Yeah.
That has no business and doesn't really care about your life. And you're just like massaging it out.
But you're a professional,
but,
so you take it in.
And it's, client confidentiality. So,
right.
And then you leave and you just feel better because, what's one of the laws of the universe? I can't remember the name of it, but if you can talk out a problem, it's already half solved.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Just if you can like
it's
get to your massage therapist or even just like thinking it out in your head, I think a lot of those emotion and traumas in the body get released.
Yeah. It's kind of like whenever I'm talking, like being a financial advisor and talking to somebody about anything having to do with any difficulty, they are not going to get anywhere unless they're aware. Mm-hmm. And so it seems to me like this is almost like there's an awareness that happens when that, it's almost like it's getting released.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's some kind
of processed and being released.
Yeah. Cool.
Exactly. So a lot of times people will be like, I just feel lighter after a massage. And it's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we are in St. George, Utah. So if you are, if you live here or if you're coming through, how would people find you?
Well, I work at Mountain Land Physical Therapy in the Sun River office, which is off of, I believe, exit 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I just work there on Tuesdays. So you just have to give them a call. And
because the rest of the week you are where?
Well, I work out of my own home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that one is, my LLC is Black Rock Massage. But my email or my phone number, I don't know if I want to get my phone number out.
Well, no, you know what I always do?
But you could probably just look up Black Rock Massage LLC.
Right. What I also do is in the bonus downloads on the podcast website, that is where I'll have like a little information flyer about Jamie. And so you can contact her if you have any further questions. You can contact her there, and I will have her contact information for you at that spot, and we'll let you know where the Mountain Land Physical Therapy office is. By the way, the owner of that company, who she works with, is going to be here in a coming week to talk about physical therapy, because I wanted to have both of these types of things, because I feel like, especially for the health and wellness issues that we deal with today, I think what you started out with saying was preventative care is always going to be the key to doing whatever you want to do to keep your body healthy and strong for as long as possible, which is my goal, is to be as healthy and strong as long as possible.
Yeah, that's why I love working over at the PT office, because I feel like it's like a comprehensive, like holistic. You get PT, but you can also get a massage, and you can like get a bunch of different things. Yeah. Instead of it's just like, oh, it's just this one thing that's going to help you. Like usually it's not. Usually it's like a comprehensive.
I feel like that's health in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Is that it's not one thing. It's going to be a bunch of different things that are all interacting together.
Yeah. Exactly.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. She was really worried about this. Like, I've never done this before. And I'm like, well, it's about time, here you are, you're out, doing your thing, and you need to get out there and let people know.
Yeah.
So
the beauty and benefits massage, everybody should get one.
Yeah.
And more than just once in your lifetime.
Right. So what, at least once a month?
Once a month. Yeah.
Maybe twice. Depending on what, drink lots of water.
Drink a lot of water. Yep. If like it's really not in your budget to get a massage every month, then make sure you're stretching, make sure you're doing mobility work. Get on the ground, sit on the ground for a minute, just move around.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That's what I'd say.
All right. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And thanks so much for joining us today on the Ask Good Questions podcast. See you next time.
Today's episode is over, but we did ask good questions again, didn't we? Don't miss out as we broadcast live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio at W4CY.com. Join Benita Bell Anderson next week for more conversations with experts on finances, retirement, behavioral finance issues, health and wellness, and more. Until then, remember to ask good questions.